What's going on, Bulls fans? It's another game day. We got the 76ers coming up tonight. Bulls versus 76ers. We're going to talk about it right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? So after games against the Utah Jazz and Boston Celtics, exhilarating games, the Bulls have another big test coming up against the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid. How are the Bulls going to guard Joel Embiid? And this game is shaping up maybe to be one of the Bulls' biggest defensive tests. The 76ers have the highest rated offense in the NBA right now, according to advanced stats. And, the Bulls also, I think they rank 8th in that. So the Bulls are going to have a tough game cut out for them as far as on the defensive end. They're going to have to play one of their best defensive games thus far. And the thing with the Bulls defense is that it's up to the test. And, while, yes, a lot of the times with matchups, we tend to think about the individual and the one-on-one defense in that regard. I don't think if you're looking at Vooch to guard Joel Embiid one-on-one, it's going to have to be a team effort. And I'm not saying maybe Vooch surprises us this game, but overall with what the Bulls have been doing, it's that team defense and not just the one-on-one defense. Yeah, some players do win their individual matchups very often, but what the Bulls are going to do against the 76ers could be a few different things. They very well could kind of let Joel Embiid go off, right? And then just guard everyone else around him. That's maybe the easiest thing to do there is make Joel Embiid beat you, but could that come back to bite the Bulls in the ass if they do it that way? Overall, I do think that the Bulls are going to have to play with the heart and determination that we've seen. Tony Bradley is going to be key in this game if he's going to keep up that defenseman. I would like to see Tony Bradley play a few more minutes in this game, especially because I think his length is going to be one of the things that could really help get us a lot of extra possessions, as well as the shot blocking at the rim. We all know the things that Tony Bradley has brought so far since he started getting consistent minutes. He's going to have to bring that kind of and be really consistent with it in the course of this game. Rebounding is going to be key for this Bulls team in this game as well, as it is in every game. But to get those extra possessions, to make sure that the Philadelphia 76ers don't have a lot of second chance points and don't feast off easy buckets that way, going to be big in this game. We're going to need consistent shooting from our offense as well. It seems to be like, right, we have one player and bench player, some that really have these really solid games. And then, it helps us sustain when other players are having off nights or whatever else. But I do think in this game, if the Bulls play in those passing lanes that has been proven to be our style, we get there. This is one of the few teams, right? I think that the Bulls don't want to get into an offensive battle with, because Philadelphia 76ers have been so good on offense so far this season. You don't really want to get into that. You want our defensive identity, and it has been, right? So what I'm saying isn't anything out of what the Bulls have already been doing this season. Late game heroics. Hopefully we don't need that in this game. This is one of those games you never want to see your team get behind, even though the Bulls have shown and proven, and they damn near broke the Boston Celtics psyche with their ability to come back and turn it on. You don't want to rely on that. That's how teams start wearing down. And can't always pull off those late game heroics if that's always the situations you put yourself into. One thing that we know about our Chicago Bulls is that they have heart, right? Our heart can't probably have one of the biggest hearts in the NBA. And because of that, like we want to see that build off what we've done. That Celtics game could really be looked at as a statement game for a few reasons. When we look back at the season, maybe it's a turning point for when the Bulls. And look, they're 6-1. It's hard to say a turning point for a 6-1 team, but at the same time, like, you want to see them be able to build off that. Our bench players are going to have to play that consistent, smothering defense that they have been playing all season. The defensive side of the ball, when our reserves come in, has not really been a problem throughout this season so far. So I trust that that's going to keep going. We know we have Alex Caruso to really anchor that second line. And just what he does in the activity, what he does in keeping his head up, what he does in getting people the ball in the correct positions. All those things are going to be key as well. Derrick Jones Jr. is somebody that I'm going to be watching out for continually, just to see what Derrick does and can continue to do. Like, don't forget Derrick Jones Jr. on the contract that he's on was expected to get starter quality minutes, right? Not maybe the number of minutes that a starter get, but he was expected to do that. He has that potential and he has that capability. That's why it was so questionable when we weren't seeing very much of him to start the season. But he's shown since he's been getting those minutes that he's here for a reason. Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Vooch, we already know 4 best players. What they do in this game is really going to dictate the way that the game looks. If Zach LaVine can get it out and scoring early, if he can shoot efficiently, what we do from three-pointer as a team as well. And I think this is going to be a game where they're going to try to feed Vooch as often as they can in the right spots to make Joel guard him on defense and expound some of that energy the best way that he can. But overall, and in these preview videos, I very rarely ever say Bulls win by XYZ. Bulls are going to pull this one out because that's just not the way that I analyze, because I know very well depending on the way that the game goes, anyone can win, anyone can lose. What I look for more so than a win, a loss, anything. Yes, of course, I want to see my Chicago Bulls win. That's every game, right? That goes without saying. I want to see the Bulls win, but I want to see the Bulls play good. I want to see good coaching. I want to see solid defense, and I want to see that the Bulls are going to continue to show the NBA we are here. Win, lose, or can't draw in the NBA. Win or lose, the Bulls are going to be that team that every time you play, you're going to get quality basketball, and they're in every game. I know in the video after the Boston game, I said how I had to turn the game off and walk away. It wasn't from disappointment. I mean, well, it was from disappointment. And I think my frustration in that overall was just because the Bulls just weren't playing good. And that's the thing, playing good and losing, I'm fine with that. But it really gets frustrating for me. I just love the fucking team so much, to just be honest with you. But nonetheless, let me get off that. The Bulls have to play tough tonight. Can the Bulls win? Absolutely. Do I think they're going to win? Absolutely. It's my team. I always think they're going to win. And Zach LaVine just continuing to show that leadership, right? Even when his shot's not falling, even when he's not scoring the most efficiently, Zach LaVine being more vocal, they're asking for calls, chipping some. Like Zach LaVine's whole demeanor and everything is that of a leader and winner now, and someone who expects to win, and someone who's one of the better players in the NBA. And we're feeding off that as a team and as an organization, and we want to see that continued. And I said last time, heading into the last game, that I wanted to see a game where Lonzo Ball balls out. And by that, I don't even mean just scoring. I mean that I just want to see a game where Lonzo's imprint is on it all over the place. And he's really, when you don't look at just the stats and look at what Lonzo Ball and what he does in space and positioning and getting his teammates the ball in the right position, and maybe it's not even the pass to get someone to score, it's the pass before the pass that someone gets to score. Lonzo Ball is a very smart basketball player. And for someone who didn't watch a lot of Pelicans basketball, admittedly, it stands out that he is probably the smartest player on the court more times than not. And so, that I think what he does for us in that lane, and I know, some of the, especially viewers of the channel, have argued, is Lonzo actually playing point guard out there? Does he need to be doing more of the ball handling, even in the half court? Whatever. Regardless of all that, Lonzo, defensively and offensively, is showing a lot of things, like I said, even things that don't show in the stat line. So, of course, we expect that to continue. Alex Caruso, Io DeSumo, what they do in this game, what they're able to do coming off the bench. I want to see Io get a lot of big minutes as well in this game. Hopefully he can get up to close to that 20 plus and effective minutes if he's playing effectively, of course. But Lord, do I love this kid's heart. And we already know Alex Caruso, what he does defensively is amazing. Having, Lonzo come off the court and Alex Caruso come on the court is one of those things that defensively just probably gets in heads of teams, because they are just so active on both sides of the ball at all times that it makes it hard for people. But those are my thoughts on this upcoming game against Philly, like what they do, who wins their individual matchups. But one thing that I have not mentioned yet, we lead the league in free throw percentage. Now I don't know about free throw rate. As far as that, I didn't look into that, but the one thing about the Bulls, if they get in people's heads and start getting them fouling, they're going to knock down those free throws. And we know what free throws can do to the outlook of the game, especially if you're able to keep your team in foul trouble and get to the line. very often and be effective at that line. So it's a lot of things to look out for in this game. This is a big test for the Bulls. I really do think if the Bulls win this one at this point, like, and I actually expect the damn the media to start turning around on the Bulls, but this is going to be that game. Following up Boston, in the way that they won that game, right? And I know people are down on Boston, but in the way that the Bulls won that game, if they can come in and win a game against Philly as well, and I already said the questions need to stop anyway, but at that point, some people need to shut the hell up and eat their crow. And I can't wait till we get to that point of just being able to tell all these ESPN analysts and everyone else to just, you guys are idiots. And we already can say it, but every time we get to prove it a little bit more. But yeah, so that's my thoughts overall on this Philly game and what the Bulls have coming up. It's going to be a tough one. It's not going to be a cakewalk at all unless something goes very, very left. But otherwise, it's going to be a tough game for the Bulls tonight. And, we know that we have the heart to be in every single game. So let me know down below, what are some of your keys and some of the things you're looking out for heading into this game? Do you, like me, want to see Tony Bradley get probably a few more minutes push closer up to that 20 minutes in this game? Like I said, specifically, I know it's going to be fluid with the bench minutes over the course of the season, but I really think Tony Bradley's length is probably going to be needed a lot in this game. But let me know what you think is going to be some of the key parts of this game. As always, like I like to end every video on, go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.